Yeah, we do. If you end up going to college and you're going for a degree in international business or economics or something, maybe you'll study this. I'm not going to ask you any questions about this ever, but I want you to be aware of its existence. The World Trade Organization. Take a wild guess what they did. And where did all the things go? Were there like more colors last time?
Oh yeah.
Where'd they go? World Trade. Guess what the World Trade Organization does? They are a club that countries can join. And countries pay dues to help stimulate trade, build economies around the world. Now, if you own a business, Paradise might have a chamber of commerce. It's not real big. What's a chamber of commerce?
Commerce is like money, right?
Commerce is business. Yes. Chamber of Commerce is all the local businesses get together and try to promote business within their towns. If there's more businesses and more companies in a town, is that town's economy stronger? Because there's more jobs. If you're a store owner, you would like other stores. Maybe not necessarily direct competition for you, but if you own a hardware store and they open up something else in town, that is going to benefit you because if nothing else, there's more jobs. There's more people coming to town. There's more people involved, and that helps you eventually. So as a business owner, you want to strengthen other businesses because that ends up helping you. Does that kind of make sense? So countries want to build these other economies so they can buy your stuff. If this country's economy is strong, it benefits me because I can buy stuff from them, they can buy stuff from me. I got a mustache on. That's it. Okay. There you go. All right. Awesome. Jaden, senior boy, isn't that awesome? So the World Trade Organization, they are trying to help build world economies, strengthen weakened economies around the world. The International Monetary Fund. What do you know about monetary? Money. Now, this is not monetary policy, but it could be. International Monetary Fund is part of the World Bank, which I am 86% sure it is a part of it's tied to this organization. This fund loans money out to countries who need to strengthen their economy. And countries will join this, pay dues to it. This is an investment because they take this money and they use it here. That helps to build the world economies, which helps to strengthen your economy. Does that make sense? Yes, okay. Your stronger countries like America and England will join this and use some money to loan it out to weaker countries to help build their economies, which in turn would help strengthen ours because there's more markets, more buying, more selling going on. If you end up learning more about it, now you have to look it up right now. You're fine.
Is there a country on the planet that doesn't like England?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I'm sure.
No one. England's kind of just there, that's why.
But there's a history. Right? There's a history of oppression, and you go somewhere like now. India was, I mean, there's countries that they kind of controlled. We got out quick, so we're friends with them. But there's other countries that are kind of like controlled by them. They probably have bad stories. And might even be grandma is still alive that remember, because India didn't leave England until 30s, 40s. So might be some hard feelings.
Is that the internal monetary?
International. International. Jayden, there's people who don't like me. what's not to like? I mean, golly, just fun, happy, you know, smiling all the time. What's not to like? There's people don't like it.
The government's probably got you on a watch list.
Oh,
or something.
probably, probably. That's funny.
You're here,
probably.
so the.
I didn't hear
brothers didn't, yeah.
last night. I didn't hear that. Anybody hear the?
Yeah, what was that you said? You never told us.
Yeah, you did.
And he's
Yeah,
What
about the UN being anti-American, anti-democracy, doesn't do any good anymore, and I figured the jig was up on that one.
I thought there was something.
Let's see. Yep, I think we're working. Cindy Lou Who. So, that's good enough for those two. We're gonna probably do 5 of these today. Wah.
Sunny, get him.
Where you going?
I was hoping to have to do it.
Oh, don't let me forget. I didn't, your quizzes didn't save when I put them in the computer, so maybe today I need to get y'all's quiz grades again. Is it didn't save? It's the taxes one. Oh, did I give you the wrong one? Everybody got a double?
No. I don't have that one. Oh, what's up? Double. This double.
Nope.
Joke on it.
Make sure you got a double.
Double?
2 sides. Put y'all what? What are you down there? What'd you say? Put y'all what?
I didn't say your name.
Okay.
Say that.
Go rest. Yeah, I kinda like those other colors there. I don't know what happened. I think I can write on pictures. With that.
Do it. I definitely can. Miss Wood used to do it.
Yeah. I've done it before on accident. So the first one is isolationist. If y'all ever had a kid,
No.
There's good and bad to everything that's going on. When the baby's born, your first one, you're scared and fired up and excited, and then it throws up or craps or cries, and now you're like, oh my gosh, and then it starts. So the horribleness of a brand new kid is you have no idea what to do. The good news is human beings have lived for thousands of years in way worse conditions, and you'll figure it out. The great thing about the newborn is if you've got the kid by yourself and you gotta go take a dump or something, you can put the kid on the floor and go do what you need to do. This kid can't go anywhere, nothing can happen. You can put them on the couch and they're not gonna go anywhere. When they get to that point where they can roll over, all bets are off. And there's no rest anymore. That's your only chance for rest is a brand newborn baby that can't do anything. So why was the United States isolationist when it started?
Because they couldn't do anything.
Couldn't do anything. They were just trying to breathe. They were trying to survive. So they had no business getting involved in anything going on around the world. They were just worried about themselves. Now the Monroe Doctrine. James Monroe was president. He was like 1825, 1820s. And what did the Monroe Doctrine say? Y'all done this in the past before. Told Europe what?
It told them that we are, I don't know.
Stay out of the Western Hemisphere. Quit colonizing over here in the Western Hemisphere. What's the Western Hemisphere? North and South America. This half of the world. Stay out of it. Y'all keep it to yourselves. We'll handle it. Teddy Roosevelt took it and ran with it. But this was the teenage America saying, "You're not the boss of me. Stay out, it's my life." And that was America. Malcolm. I think Titan told Pacer the other day, "You're not my boss. You're not mom. You're not in charge."
Pacer and Triton are two.
Oh, the funniest thing I ever heard is when Titan he came out of whenever we saw you at the game. After his game, he came out. He goes, "I trucked that kid twice." It was a basketball game. He came out. He said, "I trucked like number 4 twice or something."
Yes, he did. He did. I was happy.
Did he like lay him out?
The second time, kind of. He's dribbling down the court. Kid got in his way. He just kept going.
Are you one of those dads when something good happens, like steals it?
No, I can stay completely silent. I'm like,
Screaming at the ref. I hate you.
the only time I ever said anything was standing up in the stands to tell people to shut up and quit mouthing the ref. And I guess when the dumb coach was trying to stall because he was scared, I was in left field about 500 feet away, but shut up, let him play, quit being scared. Quit crying. Quit crying. I think I did that.
T21 or whatever that team's name was.
Golly, I hate when adults are just idiots. That kid stuff, that wears me out. Why sit way far away? Shut up.
I always wondered why you sat way out in the left field
That's why I have parents.
or right field.
I don't want to know. I don't want to hear. I don't want to see this. Stay out. All right, the Spanish-American War. In the late 1800s, America was not America yet. I'll explain it the way I understand it. There's junior colleges. There's Division III. There's Division II. There's Division I, and within Division I, there's like Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin, where they're Division I, but they're like 5A, not 6A.
That's
Okay.
what Weatherford's doing now.
What's up, Weatherford? They're doing. Where are they going?
Division 1. Their baseball team is.
Junior college?
Yeah.
Yeah. America had been, like, they'd gone through junior college, they became a Division II school. Spanish-American War was their first time in Division I, and they cracked the top 20. Right? They became a world power as a result of the Spanish-American War. They cracked the top 20. Now, they didn't beat UT, Alabama, Oklahoma. They beat Minnesota, who in the 30s was the best football team in the country. Okay. But they beat somebody. Spain was not the greatest in the world. They used to be about 400 years before that, but they kind of slipped. They had gray hair now. They wore a knee brace. But America beat them. So it became a world power. We gained territory. We didn't try to, but we gained the Philippines. I know there's a couple N's and a couple P's, maybe 3 P's, I don't know. There's P's and N's and I's and E's in there. We gained Cuba, or if you're in Massachusetts, Cuba. We gained Guam, which is a fun word to say. England's not necessarily fun to say, but Guam is fun to say. Guam. Philippines. Puerto Rico. That's close.
Uncle Rico.
Yep. I don't know what Porta means. I guess it means port. Cuba. Did we control Cuba? No. Did we control the Philippines?
No.
No. America has a history not of keeping countries and controlling countries. I was told we went to war in Iraq in 2003 to get their oil. That's what the media told me. We went to get their oil. Who controls Iraqi oil? Iraq. Who controls Iraq? Iraq. We have a history of not doing that. We have a history of helping someone become themselves. You know, we might, because Cuba and Philippines is not a part of our country anymore. Puerto Rico is the 30-year-old living on our couch. You're an American citizen. It's American territory. In my lifetime, it's my understanding we've given them a lot of opportunities to become a state, but they don't want it. I might be wrong on that. But Puerto Rico is American. I don't mind being part of America. Guam is American territory. I know we have a military base there. It's out in the Pacific somewhere. It's out towards the Philippines and somewhere out over here. Oh, there's billions of islands out here.
So to
There's
go
a
there,
regime.
if you go there, do you have to have a passport?
No, it's American. But there's not. It's somewhere over in this area, somewhere. Now, let me tell you about the Spanish-American War. There was a guy named William Randolph Hearst. Have y'all ever heard of, has any of y'all seen Citizen Kane? It's an old movie. It's always considered one of the best movies ever made. The guy that made it was Orson Welles. Now, last year in history, y'all were told about War of the Worlds on the radio. You were. Promise.
I've never
Um,
remember that.
During the 30s, people had radios and they didn't have TVs, but shows would come on the radio. If you've never heard them, they are really interesting because it's like reading a book without reading it. Because the movie, you just sit there, you know, the radio show, it gets your imagination going. You can see what they're talking about. They have the sound effects and do all that stuff. War of the Worlds was a play. I think it was written by H.G. Wells. I don't know, he's a famous science fiction guy. Well, if people turned on the radio after they introduced the play, thousands of people on the East Coast were scared to death because they thought this was literally a news report that Martians were landing, and they thought it was chaos on the East Coast. And he became famous after that. He did this movie based on William Randolph Hearst's life. William Randolph Hearst was the richest man in America. He was the most powerful man in America because he controlled most major newspapers in America, controlled opinion. And he hated Spain for some reason. He wanted to go with Spain for some reason. I don't know what that was. And you remember last year, the USS Maine. What happened to it in Havana? In Havana, capital of Cuba. Y'all, in y'all's book, the newspaper article, they had a picture of the newspaper article. It blew up. The Maine blew up. The USS tells you what?
United States.
It's a Navy ship. Yeah. The next day in William Randolph Hearst newspapers all over America, it said, Spain blows up USS Maine in Havana. Havana destroyed by sabotage. Over Christmas break, me and Little Titan, maybe it's a couple weeks ago, we watched Davy Crockett. All little boys need to watch Davy Crockett.
Which one?
The movie, the original
Fire
movie.
one?
What?
Fire one, or where he goes on
Just his life. It's just the first one about his life where he ends up in the Alamo.
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain the Alamo to Little Titan. And he couldn't get the idea. He's like, so they all died and we lost? I said, yes. But that's what made them win. I was trying to show him how these guys' sacrifice inspired the other guys to go on and go on and win. And the Hearst used that to fire up America to get into a war with Spain. We don't know what blew up the Maine. It was an old ship in the 1800s, and it's possible it just blew up because things blew up sometimes. There's a lot of weapons down there. It's possible that a mine was floated out there. You see the little mines that float and blew it up. It's possible the sabotage came in. It's possible William Randolph Hearst did one of those things to propel us into war. We don't know what happened. But he might have done that. But anyway, that was the battle cry. Remember the Maine. And people went to war. That's how Teddy Roosevelt got famous. The Rough Riders. Remember that in history? He went down to San Antonio to the Meager Hotel right by the Alamo, and he rounded up a bunch of guys. He went all over getting people, and he created this cavalry unit, and they helped win the Battle of San Juan Hill, which helped win the Spanish-American War, and he became famous. All right. So that was the Spanish-American War. Cracked the top 20. What's next? Zimmerman. Let's do Lusitania first. Does anybody know about the Lusitania? It was a passenger ship. In 1914 or 15, in the teens in there, World War I was going on. If you need to write this down, write this down. If there's a war going on, don't go there on vacation. Some people need to be told that. Hey, let's go to Afghanistan this summer. It looks beautiful. Yeah, let's go. Rich Americans, America was not in the war. We had a side though, but we weren't fighting. Rich Americans were still going to Europe on ships, cruise ships, like the Titanic. Not anymore, since it's above it. When I said Titanic, what do you think in your head? Social Security. That's a reverse. I told you when you're Social Security, you think the Titanic. See that reverse psychology I just pulled on? So you didn't know that. They actually put ads in newspapers. The German government put ads in newspapers, and to paraphrase it, it said, "Hey, idiot, don't come over here. We're fighting a war. If you come over here on a boat, we'll blow it up." Now, this is not terrorism. This is a war. And if you can cut the enemy's supply lines, does that help you win?
Yes.
What was England's military supply line?
America.
United States. We were shipping weapons to them in the bottom of ships. They weren't military ships. They were cargo ships. They were passenger ships, and they had not machine guns, but they had weapons and bombs and all that kind of stuff in the bottom of it. They were shipping it over there to them. The Titanic hit an iceberg, and it goes blub 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 blub. Right? Kind of sounded like that. The torpedo hit the Lusitania and went. Why did it do that?
There's gunpowder.
All the crap down there in the bottom. And America was like, "Oh, I can't believe that! Oh, they sunk the Lusitania." Well, yeah, they did. They told you they were going to. We were helping the other side. We were getting involved. So yes, they're gonna. If somebody was shipping weapons to our enemy, would we blow it up?
Yes.
Yes. And we'd be, yes, that's awesome. Yes. So the Lusitania was like the Alamo. Remember the Lusitania? It fired up America, and a lot of Americans were ready to go to war because of that.
Yes, sir.
What did the Germans have? What technology did they have that nobody else had yet?
Yes.
Radar.
Not yet.
Submarine.
U-boats, underwater boats, submarines. It was scary because there was no way to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't any radar, sonar, or anything like that. Now, the Zimmermann telegram. Zimmermann was the German Secretary of State, okay, government official. A government official from America, I don't know who it was or where it was, found the Zimmermann telegram. We intercepted this telegram. Hey guys, I found this.
I was talking about the Spanish telling Mexicans to go. Not Mexicans.
Told Mexico, if you will help us, if you'll join our side and attack America, we'll give you back Texas, California, Arizona, New Mexico. We'll give you back all your old territory. We don't know where this came from. Could Zimmermann have really wrote it and sent it? He could have. Could America, some government official, have just done it to get us fighting in the war? No. We don't know. It's like the Maine. We don't know. But the Zimmermann telegram and the Lusitania, however you spell it, those are the two things that got America into World War I. And last, the Treaty of Versailles. If you say it Versailles, but it looks like Versailles, what language is that? French. That's it. I just taught you French there. If you say Versailles, but it says Versailles, that means it's French. President Wilson. Who was he the president of? What country was he president of?
America.
America. He had glasses. That didn't separate him from a lot of people. Woodrow is his first name.
Oh, yeah.
Not many Woodrows anymore. They kind of name I'm sure there was way more Woodrows in the teens than there was in these teams. You know, that's 100 years ago. That's crazy. That's weird. 100 years ago. I was born 40. Never mind. All right, Wilson. He wrote the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles blamed Germany for World War I. It's your fault. Wasn't Germany's fault. No. But we blamed them for it. It forced them to pay back all the war debts that were out there. Because it's your fault, all these countries had to spend all this money on this war, you got to pay that back. Now, if you fight a war, if you win the war, if you win the heavyweight boxing championship, how do you look? You're beat up, right? If you fight in the heavyweight boxing championship, you're going to get beat up. Even if you win, you got tagged a few times. If you lost, you're going to look worse. Because you're fighting for, in a war, you're fighting for your life. If you win, you're men, money, and stuff. If you lose, more men, more money, more stuff. So Germany was physically destroyed. They were economically destroyed already because they put everything they had into winning this war. Now you add to it, you're a piece of crap. Now they're mentally destroyed, and any hope is taken away from them because their economy can't recover because you're having to pay back all these war debts where you don't have anything to begin with. It's like going to jail for 20 years and you owe a $100,000 fine. How can I'm in jail. I can't even get a job. How can I, pay that back? My best friend, Mark, was Mr. Everything in high school. My best friend, he never lost anything. He was always a winner. He was always successful, everything he did. I introduced him after we graduated to Risa Thomas. She was my girlfriend's friend. She was from Brock. She was really athletic. She was really smart. Mark fell in love with her. He'd never been in love before. He fell in love with her. And she broke his heart about a month later. When I say broke his heart, she destroyed him. It hurt me physically to see him go through that because I didn't know Mark Cook was capable of being crushed. He was crushed. I got a call about a month later. Ryle, I met a girl. I went, oh no. Ryle, she's amazing. She's perfect. She's wonderful. In other words, she knows I exist. He didn't feel like a piece of crap anymore. He didn't like the girl. He liked not feeling like a piece of crap anymore. Right?
Good morning, Paradise High School. Here are today's announcements. Sophomores pay your class dues to Mr. King in room 206, $30 for each year. Juniors, don't forget to pay your class dues to Miss Taylor in room 130. The dues are now $40. Juniors, last Friday you were given a reminder of class dues you owed and concession stands you have worked. Please remember this money goes to put on a great prom for our seniors and towards your graduation and senior trip expenses. Note, if you do not work 4 concession and stand shifts, you will owe $25 per shift. Also remember this must all be paid before prom if you intend on going. Also remember your class dues must be paid in order to go on a senior trip next year.
Of the 50 juniors that said they wanted to go to prom, only 4 have completed all the necessary steps. Y'all need to get on that.
This week we have 2 basketball games and all shifts are covered. After this week, there are 6 home games left. Get signed up ASAP or see Miss Taylor to simply pay off your shifts. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please remain quiet for a moment of silence. Thank you and have a great day.
God has given me gifts and abilities. It is my responsibility to use them and not waste them. My outlook on life is a choice, not a reaction. I will make my world a better place for myself and those around me. I will do my best not to make a comment out of ignorance. The only fair in my life is in Dallas in October, Decatur in spring. The world is not a satellite of myself. I'll be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Just because somebody calls me a tree doesn't make me wood. I'll do my best as I expect your best. Stop being offended by things that don't concern you. There's a chance I might get baked today. Alright, so Mark liked not feeling like garbage anymore. He liked the girl, he liked not feeling like garbage. Right? He called me back 6 months later, they're getting married.
Oh, wow.
I called a meeting. Not with Mark, with everybody else. We all met somewhere halfway. It was like Christmas time, so we all met. And we was like, what? Because we all saw it. Y'all seen it. You can see it. They can't see it. What we're going to do, we finally came to the conclusion that, and I had to tell Christy this, with my oldest son. Well, Christy, girls are undefeated. If there's a 20-year-old boy and there's a mom and a girl, mom loses every single time. Quit trying to win that. You'll never win it. So we let it go. Ended up splitting up. And then when he started coaching, he ended up a couple years later coaching at Graham. Guess who was the girls' basketball coach at Graham?
The next one.
No,
The first girl.
recently. They got married. They've been married ever since.
Oh, no. Man.
2, 3 kids. And every time I see, we go to Brock, I'll see Reese, and she'll come up, oh, this is who introduced me to my honey. And then I tell him I'm sorry every day, and she, shut up, Ralph, stop it. You know, anyway. This is why Hitler was able to come to town. Germany. Was Germany devastated? Was Germany mentally destroyed? Here comes this guy that manipulates their feelings and makes them feel good about being German finally. So they have these feelings for Hitler. They like Hitler. They make them feel good. They don't notice all the garbage going on. Matter of fact, when the troops came through and they forced them to go through the concentration camps, it kind of unhypnotized them. They're like, oh my God, they really didn't see that. They really didn't pay attention to everything that was going on. Anyway, they also weren't allowed to have milk or fish as much.